Good morning, world. Maria here, alive and kicking. Welcome to this month's Stars Are Us with my co host, Joe Anthony. If you're not familiar with Joe's work, get over to planetswithin.com. Joe, I got to tell you this. Last month's show, you were dead on when you said something big was coming around the 20th. And I remember when I talked to you after the shooting in Orlando, and you said, this isn't it. There's something behind this. And then Brexit happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I said,
And
well,
then, of
there you
course,
go.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I said you were dead on, and I told people that.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it's not done yet. I mean, as we're recording this today, I'm sure you're well aware. I know you are, and many of your listeners are, that Clinton is not going to be indicted for her criminality. I mean, it's just so blatant, Maria. I mean, you have to either be under a rock or just not wanting to know what's really going on in this country right now. And it really is the powers that shouldn't be are trying to enforce their will on the population. And this is what's taking place. And as far as the prediction, I mean, the astrology was indicating very strongly that there was going to be some sort of major event. And as you know, they all pay attention to the astrology, these criminals that run the world. And so they used it to maximize, the fear factor. And so this month we're continuing to go through Cancer. Cancer is a very passionate sign. It's a very passionate symbol. And so it also represents the birthday of the United States. So I'm going to say here again on your show that we'll look for some other major events to take place this month around the next full moon, which is around the 19th. So it's going to be quite a year by the time it's all over and said and done, Maria.
Well, it sure looks like we're going to have some pretty wild times at these conventions, that's for sure.
And that's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to throw Trump under the bus, and they're going to try and make Hillary the savior of this country. Could you imagine this?
Mm-hmm.
She's saving anyone?
Right, with everything she did, with everything she's done. And the FBI, the only thing they say is that she was careless about her emails. And they're not going to press charges, you know. I'm sure a lot of
Sure.
Bernie supporters must be tremendously disappointed.
Well, it's just everyone. The good news here with all of this is that the internet and our cell phones are still, working that we could get information out there to realize what is happening. I thought about this morning, and I looked up the word apocalypse once again. Now, I know you know and your listeners know, but the Greek meaning of the word apocalypse is to reveal. And this is what we're revealing, the total corruption and lies that just keep coming over and over again. And it doesn't matter. It's not just politics. It's business. It's how the world was created, religion, everything is coming forth. And it's like a tsunami of information is hitting us right now. And those of us that are ready for it, like you and I and our listeners here, are like, bring it on. We want it. We want to know the truth. And then you have most of the population, again, 60 to 70%, who just stick their heads in the sand and go, oh, that's not for me. I don't want to know.
Exactly.
So,
I can't tell you how many times I said, wave that flag over the past weekend. I mean, while everybody was busy waving flags, California was passing some pretty strong gun bills. But, nobody was paying attention because they wanted to see their fireworks made in China.
exactly. That's right. And so it seems that the power structure is shifting to China, no doubt about it. And we just don't know if it's legit, if it's being controlled by the same people. Is the new currency that's going to be implemented backed by gold? That's the talk, by anyway. Is it going to be still controlled by the big corporations, the same families, and so on? And no one really knows. That's the thing. No matter how much speculation we do, how many people we listen to, how many blogs we read, it's still up in the air. And there's no guarantee of where it's going to go. And so all I can tell you and your listeners is that the astrology is indicating from now until 2018, there will be a new currency. There will be there may be multiple currencies, Meria. And so this is what the real struggle is to keep control or power over the financial system so it doesn't collapse and that these families and these corporations don't lose their wealth and their power. That's what it's really all about.
Right.
It's not about, getting some crumbs from the government. It's really on a larger scale, hold on to the power structures. But I will guarantee you this, that they will fall. There is no doubt in my mind, Pluto going through Capricorn will first empower these people and these corporations, and then by the end of it coming out, it will totally dismantle it. So by 2024, I know that's a ways away, but by 2024, many of these corporations and government institutions will cease to exist.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Well, you saw as soon as the UK pulled out of the European Union how the markets crashed. And it didn't take long,
Exactly.
and the super rich were crying in their beer because they lost 3% of their wealth. I didn't feel any sympathy for them.
Neither did I. The bottom line is that as more and more people awaken, and already there's another 34 countries that are drawing up same documents and wanting the same vote to get the hell out of there. It's a controlled mafia. That's all it is. The EU is a controlled mafia. You must use this currency, which is not even real, to implement our will. And so we're going to see more and more of this. Folks, I wish there was an easy way out of this, but there really isn't. I mean, China has made an offer that sounds reasonable. Again, at the surface, it sounds reasonable. They were willing to use their gold reserves, and they would lend the gold reserves at 13% interest to the United States to create a new currency that is actually backed by this reserve gold. Now, again, it's not, I don't know if it's true, speculation, but this is the talk, this is the conversation. And so, of course, the powers that shouldn't be are not going to take it because they would lose control of the printing of the money for the country. And so there are ideas on the table for implementing a new currency and to take some of the power away from these corrupt organizations and people. But of course, they're going to go kicking and screaming. That's the bottom line. They're going to keep implementing their false flag operations, their fear tactics, and trying to scare the public into what's right for them or what's good for them, which really is, not really good for the public.
Exactly. Well, we've already just passed the 4th because today is the 5th. But yesterday we had a Cancer new moon. So what does that bode for people?
Well, as I said in my newsletter, Meria, it's amazing because the new moon was right on the birthday of the United States. So the next coming year, within the next year, you will see major changes taking place to the U.S. And so this could be everything from water issues, real estate matters, structure, the government. I do believe we are going to have some massive changes that are going to come to this country. And so I just tell people to prepare, stay out of fear, hope for the best, keep your ears open and stay informed. Listen to Maria's show. Listen to others. Read, alternative media information and use your own judgment. But this country with that new moon in Cancer is going to change the structure, the fundamental structure of this country because it's opposing Pluto. Again, Pluto in Capricorn, the powers there shouldn't be. And so over the next 3 months, I would say over the next 3 months or so, you will see some major changes coming or being implemented. Now, it could be the selection of Hillary Clinton, in November that really, opens everyone's eyes because now we have the female version of Joseph Stalin. And so we may see some strange things going on. We may see some sort of revolt, in pockets of the United States. I mean, you brought up a great example of California and the gun laws there. And I think we may see more of them in other very, I don't want to say left-leaning, but more controlled states that will be implemented. we will see stuff going on in this country that is going to be a little upsetting at first, but all part of the equation here. As you and I know, and your listeners know, that the powers that shouldn't be have been trying to destroy this country, and the only reason it has not been taken down is because we have a lot of weapons. So they will try their best to implement more disasters, or what looks like natural disasters, especially around water, because cancer represents water. And so look for those types of situations to occur. And so best case scenario, a surprise of some kind. And I don't know exactly how or when, but look for September to be another surprise month, because there are two major eclipses coming in September. One is in Virgo and the other one is in Pisces. And so I'll talk about that obviously when we get closer to September. But I would say this new moon is setting the tone for the next few months ahead, Meria. And it is a passionate one. It is an irritable one, because Cancer can be very moody. And so not just this month, but the next 3 months, I believe we're going to see more situations in this country in particular that are going to upset us. I'm sorry to have to say that, folks, but this is what the astrology is indicating.
Right. Well, I was reading that at the GOP convention they made a list of what you're not allowed to bring if you're going to protest or you're going to the convention, but they are allowing guns. So I'm like, what?
Oh.
You can't bring a backpack, you can't bring this, you can't bring a knife, but you can bring your gun. So I'm like, what are they going to end up doing? Shooting each other dead? Is this like going to be the start of some psychotic civil war?
Listen, I would not put it past them. Absolutely. That is a possibility. I hate to say it, but that is a possibility. Could you imagine if somebody gets assassinated or some sort of shootout takes place at one of the conventions? I mean, it would just cause total chaos. And everyone would continue to just be on edge, as they are now. I mean, just from the Brexit vote and everything, silver and gold prices are starting to move. And, of course, people are still stocking up on ammunition and buying guns. Gun sales are going through the roof.
Of course.
Maria.
Of course.
Through the roof.
Of course.
So,
it's like every shooting, the sales go up. Kind of makes you wonder if the gun lobby's involved in the shootings, too.
Right, exactly. Exactly. But, I personally think, and I see this, that more and more people are starting to get it. I mean, not as much as we would like, obviously, but more and more people are getting it. They're starting to awaken. They're starting to see it. As I said, the word apocalypse in Greek means to reveal. And so something inside of us is saying, wait a minute, something doesn't smell right here. Something's fishy. What is it that's really happening? And I'm actually going to come out with a video. Yes, I'm doing more videos these days, Meria.
Good, I'm glad.
So it's like Mac Central over here. I just picked up a MacBook Pro also.
Oh, good for you.
Anyway, so what's happening is I'm going to come out with another video using some of the information I've done in the presentations from the past and talk about what's really going on. And then, of course, at the end, as always, there's going to be a spiritual message there, because bottom line is that's the only way we're going to be able to grow and understand who we are, is that spiritual information that, that from our core, understanding that we are these spiritual beings having these human experiences. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of stuff on the plate this month, and just keep your eyes and ears open, folks. That's what I have to say.
Right. What's going on with the sun, Joe? I think you sent me an article about the sun dimming and that it could go blank. There's a lot of people saying that they're seeing two suns rise in the morning and posting pictures about it. I don't know how realistic that is.
I've seen the same thing. I've seen the same videos of people in their backyard showing two suns, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit. I mean, there's very little information on that, but we're relying on amateur astronomers and these backyard movie makers to show us that there seems to be two suns in the sky. Now, I believe that it could be a dwarf sun, a dwarf star. Okay, which is not impossible because of the region of where we're going in the sky. We're going through the photon belt, and there are a lot of other stars in this galaxy, in this pathway. So it wouldn't surprise me that we've aligned with another dwarf star in the background. Now, I'm not an astronomer that focuses on positions of planets for scientific use, and so I can only speculate at this. And so I do believe that there is another sun behind ours. Now, our sun has been acting very strange the last month or so. I have been reading articles from Space Weather and other sites that are saying that the sun is unusually calm. That's very interesting. So they're saying it's going into a solar minimum as opposed to solar maximum. And there's nothing happening on the surface, like the bubbling of the magnetic fields and so on. So there is something quiet taking place, without a doubt. But on the other hand, this high-pitched squealing is incredible, Meria. I don't know if I'm sure you're hearing it, but it's just at times the frequency is so loud that you can't avoid it. Are you hearing that high-pitched squeal?
I don't hear it. I haven't heard that for a while. The only time I heard that was when I was in Sedona.
Okay, well, it must be in Sedona because almost every day now, right around when the sun comes up, the high-pitched squeal gets more intense. As a matter of fact, I could hear it now, and it's not the backfeed from my headphones because it started prior to that.
Right.
It's not like tendon, the ear thing, tinnitus.
Right.
It's just a high frequency, And so I thought maybe it was the electronics in the room and the apartment. I said, no, can't be that, because I hear it outside as well. So I know it's some sort of frequency change that's taking place. But yes, the sun is acting very strange or erratic. It's quieter now, but I'm sure at some point it will start changing again. That's why I encourage everyone to please subscribe to Space Weather or one of the other sites that monitor the sun on a regular basis, because this is how you know, and you'll have 2 or 3 days of a heads up before that energy hits the Earth. So yes, the sun is very weird and erratic right now, and we must pay attention to that as well. So, yeah.
Well, you also...
Of course, that energy is
right, but you said this month that I think on the 11th, Venus enters Leo, and then Mercury on the 13th enters Leo. What does that forebode or usually mean?
Well, Venus is about partnerships. It's also about money. And so when it goes into the sign of Leo, we become more aggressive in both of those areas, desiring more relationships, wanting to be seen and heard around others. But Leo is also a very speculative sign, so look for increases in gold prices because Leo rules gold or is associated with gold. I would say look for gold prices or precious metals going up. And on a personal level, we will definitely seek more attention, want to look better, dress better. There's a fascination with our hair when planets are going through Leo because it's about being seen and heard, and expressing yourself. And so with Venus there, it's a gentler, more fun-loving placement in Leo. And so we will see more of that. But again, Venus represents money, so keep an eye on the financial situation as well. Because once Venus in Leo goes into a bad aspect, like a square or an opposition, yes, it could be something that gets triggered in the economy, you see. And Mercury entering Leo is our thinking. So the way we communicate, the way we express ourselves, Mercury in Leo is very creative. So if you folks out there are thinking about some form of creativity, like writing, drama, like acting or performing, or writing a piece of music or something along those lines, Mercury in Leo for 3 weeks will help you, get that process going, and that creativity will just start flowing. Now, it's really not a big deal to the United States with Mercury in Leo, but again, it turns its focus or its emphasis on things related to Leo, gold, money, assertion. We may see more aggression taking place, with certain people because of the Leo energy. And so, because it's a fire sign. So we may move forward in a more aggressive manner that we normally would, as opposed to the Sun and Mercury going through Cancer, as they're doing right now, as we're doing this recording. So a little bit of a shift, Maria.
Oh, just a little. Is it going to
Just a
be?
little.
Is it going to be just as bad as last month, or will it get a little better?
Well, it should get a little better. July and August, the alignments are not as heavy as they've been the last few months. And so, especially when the sun goes into Leo on the 22nd, we are more fun-loving. We're looking for more things that bring us joy as opposed to frustration and watching these clowns in Washington and the world, continue to destroy our civilization. And so our focus will definitely be on money. It will definitely be on romance. It will definitely be on creative endeavors, which I totally encourage people. You can't just be so focused on all this negative stuff and not pay attention to some of the good stuff. As going out in nature, if you're involved in a relationship or even your family, embracing that love that you feel for one another and enjoy yourself. There has to be a balance. And so with the Leo planets, we will definitely need some of that joy and that feeling of love, because Leo also represents love. And so, and it represents children as well. So it's a time this month, for the second half of the month at least, for enjoying ourselves a little bit more. But I would totally, still tell everyone to keep that eye on the other stuff, because it's just as important, And so it definitely should be a lighter month, depending on what takes place around the 19th and the full moon. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. But
well, I did start watching your monthly by sign horoscopes on YouTube, which I recommend everybody does. Get to Joe's YouTube channel. It's free. You're there. You can look up any sign you want. Joe does at least 10 minutes on each sign, which is a lot of work, Joe. But I was kind of happy because I always go for Sagittarius first. And I was like, oh, looks like it'll be a good month for me. We also have the full moon in Capricorn on the 19th. What kind of things can we expect from that?
Well, this is a wild card, Meria, because not only is the moon in Capricorn the sign that represents corporations and governments, it's also squaring, which is 90 degrees away. It's a difficult angle in astrology, to Uranus, the unpredictable wild card. Now, this is why I said look for some major sudden events or something to take place around the 19th. Now, it could happen a few days before, a couple of days after, just like last month. Mm-hmm. But this is a wild card. This is a total wild card moon. And so look for some major revelations or information to come out in the political arena. I think it will affect this country as opposed to, say, England or other countries. I do think that other countries will make announcements to exit the EU around this time. So we are going to see some major information. A full moon in Capricorn is about status. It's about some sort of attention or recognition related to work. In this case, as a whole, it represents government. It represents all the institutions that control. Mm-hmm. And so we will see this one. It's going to be very powerful. It's making a favorable alignment to Jupiter, so whatever the information is, it should be big or more noticeable, okay? And so on a personal level, this is about our jobs. This is about our careers. This is about our focus. Just yesterday, I was talking to someone who was concerned. They're in between jobs, and they've got a family, they got a mortgage, they got payments. Mm-hmm. And, and they said, Joe, how can I buy gold? How can I buy silver and stock up on food when I'm having trouble paying my mortgage and making my car payments and I don't have a job? And I said, do the best you can, adapt. And so we're going to see more of that thinking around the full moon as well, because Capricorn is a very conservative sign. And so it tends to worry a little bit more on a personal level about its security and its safety for its job and its well-being. So, but again, folks, these are just cycles. Don't feed into the fears. Just understand them so you can make better choices. And I know your listeners and my listeners that are listening to this are much more informed than the average person. And so our job, as I've been telling everyone that's informed and awake, is to slowly spoon feed others and give them the information and the resources to slowly awaken because they're not going to be able to handle it.
I know, it's a lot to handle. It's certainly
Right.
a lot to handle, and it's like every day there's more and more crap out there that you have to, try to pull apart to see where's the truth in this, if there is any.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, there's so much, some of the things, some of the emails I've sent you, Maria. I mean, it's just incredible some of the stuff that's been going on this month.
I know.
It's just amazing, from Hawaii also passing restrictive gun laws and having the FBI register these guns now to, strange and weird things going on around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree. I mean, I look at it and it's like every day there's new stories. But what's interesting is, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but there certainly have been a preponderance of crop circles showing up everywhere. This morning, 2 huge ones opened up in Italy.
Yes, I have been noticing that. As a matter of fact, I use quite a few crop circles in my movie, and you'll see them, but you're absolutely right. Isn't it amazing? These crop circles are appearing right around this time, and for me, they seem to be indicating an energy shift, like something is shifting from one place to another. Wouldn't you agree, Maria?
Absolutely.
How would you take those crop circles?
Well, for me, a lot of them look like, first of all, they're very beautiful, but a lot of them just seem to have the appearance of a replacement. I'll call it replacement. Of, say, this world being replaced by something else.
Yes, and I would totally agree.
And, for me, I've always thought, everybody has their own opinions on crop circles. But I've always felt that they're coming from the inside of the earth, almost like warnings to us, like the earth is talking to us in art and we're not getting the message.
Well, that definitely makes sense. And it could be. All these crop circles are just reflective of what's going on. Absolutely, just like art is reflective of our time.
Right.
And so whoever's creating them, or maybe the consciousness, like you said, of the earth is creating them. Although there are some videos on YouTube of orbs creating the crop circles that I witnessed. And again, you can't believe everything you see on YouTube. But
right, but maybe it's a little of everything. Who knows? We really don't know. But when you look at it, and I look at the news, how many beaches, most of the beaches in South Florida closed because of, algae that they say is thick as guacamole. I posted a picture of a guy at the Olympics in Rio. He's on a water ski and the ocean is just, everything around them is floating garbage. Look at the pollution in the Pacific. The Pacific is dying from Fukushima, from the plastic islands. It just is incredible to me how much we have assaulted this planet, and to our own detriment.
Absolutely, but and your listeners know that the bottom line is the powers that shouldn't be believe there are too many people on this planet. And so they have tried their best to kill off as much as possible. And they've done a great job at that with all the wars that they've created and all of the religious crusades that they've implemented. But the biggest factor has been killing off the food supply. And that is what they're doing. They're killing off the food supply, from the geoengineering and weather modification over the middle part of the United States to the Fukushima radiation spill in the Pacific Ocean. They are trying to kill humanity, kill off humanity. And they're very patient about it, too. This may take 20, 30 years, but they're very patient about it. And so this is what that is all about. And you're absolutely right. We're destroying this beautiful planet, and we're allowing it to happen because a majority of the population doesn't quite understand how the real world works, and that we are shooting ourselves in the foot. And so,
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to take
I
to
don't,
wake people up.
I don't either. Maybe a comet needs to hit the planet for people to get their attention.
No.
The sun this month also moves into Leo.
Yes, on the 22nd, the sun goes into Leo, and so everything that I said about Leo earlier is the same thing, except that now we have the power of the sun behind its own placement. In other words, the sun in Leo is a natural fit. Leo rules the sun rules Leo. And so this is the high point of the year where the sun is the strongest. And so from an astrological standpoint, once again, if you're a Leo, Leo rising, Leo moon, you have strong Leo in your chart, this is going to amplify that energy in your birth chart. And so it's going to be about all kinds of creativity. It's going to be about sort of being seen and heard, aggression, wanting to get out and do more, physically active, because all fire signs are very physically active. But I would encourage everyone, once again, to embrace the love in your life, wherever you find it.
Right.
Whether it's pets, children, I don't care. Embrace the love in your life, because that is more powerful than anything else we could do on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely. Enjoy the life you have. Right.
Exactly.
Joe, we're going to take a short break. Hold on, everybody. We'll be right back.